We're talking about family balance. And you can hear we've got Patricia. She is an entrepreneur, business owner. She's been in our Spark coaching program for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And we have a great relationship with her, and she does a similar program of launching businesses, mostly targeted and supporting the military community, military spouse community. She has websites, so has a lot of experience in digital marketing. I think we're going to have her back on for our end up wrap up, where she's going to package some of that together. And she's got incredible skills, but today's really about family balance. We felt like it was important to talk about this topic. It can't just be about business. Okay, because you have to realize, how do you do everything? You can't just say, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and put that away. You have to figure out how to be bold. And you can even see now, as she's taking care of her son there, is he sick or he just wants his mama?
No, he just wants me.
Okay, how old?
He's 2, but also I think the time change is kind of getting to everybody, so he's not sure what time it is right now.
Got you. I think we've been in the same boat. Well, with that, Patricia, over you for some intro words, and then we'll meet the entrepreneurs a little bit more, and then open it up for just what your thoughts are on this topic.
Okay, so as Adam said, my name is Patricia, and I have been running my own business for, wow, I think 12 years now with my twin sister. And, we started this business because we both wanted to be able to work around our families and not the other way around. And so even though running a business has its ups and downs, being able to have the flexibility to do things like this where my son hops in, it's been huge for us, and it makes everything worth it, to be perfectly honest, to be able to put our family first, but to still be able to do work that we enjoy, and to be able to do things like this with Adam, all of that, it pays off because we're doing this for ourselves and on our terms instead of someone else's, basically.
Yeah, so powerful, and amen, and just a good sense of giving back and pouring back into the community is also a good touch point on. I'm sure we could have that as a great session.
Right.
Bernard and the team, over to you guys for just some intros, if you can. Any updates, or just kind of tell what the ladies do, business, and how they're doing.
Business relationship. And how the week has been. Okay, so we have Petronella, coach. We have Petronella here. She does a business where she sells some vegetables. These are also rice, eggs, tomato, onion, and some charcoal. So during the week, she has had, that is last week, she was just doing the normal ordering and selling of her goods at her store, where she does it from home. And in the middle, we have Esnat. She also does a similar business where she sells some trays of eggs. She sells some groceries, in short. So she also, last week, she was also selling and ordering more using the funds that she received from the Spark program. And then here on the other end is Annabelle. Yes, so Annabelle has a great business. She sells traditional Chitenge materials. So these are mostly used to make African style clothes. As you can see, the lady in the middle, Esnat, is putting on something on her head. So the materials that she sells, the products that she sells, they use those to make what she's wearing on her head. So she has been ordering and also selling the past week, and business has been slow, but it's getting better. So she also sells second-hand clothes. So this, she orders bill of clothes, then she resells them at a higher price.
Okay, wow, great. And I think we have an amazing set of ladies, and good to hear that the businesses are keep going. I know Esner also does grocery, but it sounds like she's also doing some fashion. But Patricia, you can see that they have quite a variety there. You know, obviously specializing in grocery and getting food to people, getting the needed goods to people. So with that, we'll let you just kind of open with some of your thoughts on family balance, and then we'll just kick it over to ladies for any questions. I know each of them have their own families, up to 3 kids, a lot of them. So yeah, looking forward to hearing how the discussion goes.
Okay, great. So I think that, you know, one of the big things that people always ask me when they find out that I have kids is like, how do you do it? And I was like, sometimes it looks like this, where he joins me when I'm doing stuff. And sometimes it's asking for help, like my sister or my mom or, you know, my husband asking people to step in. So if you have those resources, then by all means use them, even though we all know sometimes it's not easy to ask for help. If it's there, you should definitely lean on what's available for you so you can do work in your business and meet your goals. But also that sometimes, even if as a mom, at least for me and for other moms that I know, it feels like you should always be doing more than one thing at a time. But sometimes that makes things harder. So right now I don't really have a choice, because if he wasn't with me, he wouldn't calm down. But other times it feels like multitasking. You think you're getting more done, but you're not. So sometimes you have to focus on your business, but sometimes you have to focus on your family, because it all needs your attention, but you can't always be doing all the things all the time. Otherwise, you'll wake up one day and realize you didn't really get anything done because you were too busy trying to do too many things at the same time. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned as a business owner, is that sometimes you have to accept that some things get done and some things don't. So you have to be choosy on where your energy goes, because sometimes your kids are sick, so they need your attention. Sometimes you really need to make some money to pay for something, so you have to find a way to get the support that you need for your children so you can focus on your business. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So there he goes now. Okay, there he goes now. And so, you know, I think that part of the balance is kind of knowing what needs to come first on any given day, and that sometimes you can't do it all, but that's okay, because we're human and sometimes you have to make choices. But being able to run a business and having a family has to do with knowing how to make those choices and still being able to do what you have to do, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, you want to work, you have to sell stuff, but you have children to take care of. So you just have to kind of find a way to balance those things. But I think people think balance means that you're giving the same to both at the same time. But what I've found is that balance means giving attention where it's needed. So if your attention is needed on your kids, then you find a way to make that happen. If your attention needs to be in your business, you find a way to make that happen. And if the attention needs to be on you, which sometimes it does, and sometimes you forget that, then you find a way to make that happen. So I think the main thing is trying to figure out, if you can't give your all to everything, which you can't, is figuring out what needs to be done first, so you can focus on that, and kind of giving yourself the grace of realizing that it's okay that you can't do it all the time, because no one can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really great to hear, Patricia. Bernard, do you want to hand it back to the ladies to see what they want to say about this?
Well, so I was just, as she was talking, I was just doing a little bit of some translation, so that they fully understand what she's talking about. Okay, so Petronella here says that she has 3 kids, and she has found herself in instances where she has to go and order some stuff for a shop, where she has to go and buy some stuff for a shop to restock the goods. And then it happens that maybe the child is sick. So she understands that her business is very much important as well, but she, in this case, has to take care of the child, because the child comes first compared to her before the business. Yeah, so she has had a situation where she had to make a change or strike that balance in terms of business, and a situation where she has to save the child by taking the child to the clinic or to the hospital. Then, then business comes later.
So first have to prepare food for the family. Then we can balance.
So for Esnat, she's giving a scenario where one of the things in her store is she bakes. So she bakes some scones, and these scones, she usually bakes them at night so that she can sell them in the morning. So sometimes when the business is a little bit overwhelming, she has to bake them in the morning so that around 10 a.m. she's already selling them. So there are instances where the same time she's supposed to be baking is the same time that she's supposed to be cooking for the husband or for the kids at home. So she has to balance that time. So according to her, she first cooks for the husband, cooks for the children. That's when she now comes and bakes those scones for the business.
I have small kids which I care. And that's what I prepare first to eat for school. And I prepare food, and then morning to school. That is the 8 hours sharp. So 7:45 is supposed to be there. 8 sharp, we start with the shop. So then after that, that's when we keep the shop. That is my etiquette.
Okay, so for Annabelle, she says that she's keeping two children for the brother. So every morning she has to prepare them for school. So in preparing them for school, because they report for school at 8 a.m. So she has to prepare them before 8 a.m. And around 8 a.m. is the same time that she's also supposed to open her shop for a business. So she finds herself somewhere in the middle where she has to prepare for the shop first, and then she has to prepare for the kids, let them go to school first. That's when she opens the shop. So that's how she balances her work and the business. And she adds on to say she's a mother of 5. Yeah, so I don't know if you have any questions for them.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And I can't imagine how much of a challenge that is for them. But Patricia, did you want to add on to what they said, or did you have any questions you want to ask them?
Yeah, I wanted to say something, but I wanted to make sure they were done because I don't want to interrupt anybody.
Okay.
So I think that, one of the big things about running a business is trying to stay flexible. And what she had said about taking her kid to the hospital and putting that above business because, that's why you're doing this. You're doing this for your family. I think that's a big thing that, you need to keep in mind, because sometimes you're frustrated because, my sister who I work with, 2 of her children have medical issues. And, just when we're like, things are going great, somebody ends up in the hospital and you're like, oh, but then you're like, oh, that's why I do this. I do this so I can put my family first when they need me to. And that's my big why. So, even when you get frustrated where it feels like it's hard to do all the things, you remind yourself, I'm doing this for them. This is why I do this. So I can put them first when they need me to put them first, or put me first when I need to put me first. Then I think that helps a lot when you start to get really frustrated, when it feels like nothing's quite going the way you thought it was going to. And you start to wonder if you can actually balance all of this stuff. Is you have to remember, this is why you're doing it, right? You're doing it for your family, for you, to create something for you down the road. And that even when it's not going exactly the way you thought, it's okay. It's all part of the journey. So I think it's great to see people who feel the same way I do, that the reason I'm in business is for my family. And that if my family needs to come first, sometimes that's exactly what I'm going to do. Even if it affects how I run my business, then people have to understand that. And if they don't understand that, then we're just not going to work together, because they are why I do what I do.
That's true. I agree.
Wow, that is amazing to hear. And speaking as someone that doesn't have kids, hearing the perspective of mothers in business is really inspiring. And what you guys all do and how you guys all manage to not only fit time for your businesses, but also fit time for your children, for your family. So it's very inspiring how all of you are within this field, pursuing what you're doing and making a living and following your dreams on top of caring for your families, for your children. I'm sure they also appreciate and look up to each and every one of you for doing that. And do the ladies have any questions, Bernard? Do they have anything else to say regarding this?
No.
There are no questions. Thank you.
I think everything is clear. We do not have questions.
Oh, can I add one more thing too?
Yes. of
Yes.
course.
Okay. So I think in terms of when I think of balance as a business owner, I think the thing that gets lost in it sometimes is you. So I want to make sure that you guys keep that in mind, right? Because you're like, oh, I have to do the business. Oh, I have to take care of my family. But at some point you need to factor into it, because you can only give what you've got to give. So I know it's hard as a mom trying to do all the things at the same time, but it's important not to take for granted taking care of yourself. Like this past weekend, I was supposed to be working, but then I had an emergency on Saturday and I was basically wiped out the whole weekend. But I could have pushed through, but I'm like, I have this thing with you guys and I wanted to save my energy for being able to show up this morning. So I took the weekend off instead of forcing myself to work, because sometimes you just have to take care of yourself or you won't be able to take care of everybody around you. So when you're trying to figure out what balance looks like for you, for your business, for your family, don't forget to put yourself into the equation, because I think it's easy to kind of forget about yourself in the big picture, but you're a very big part of that picture. So you need to make sure that whatever balance looks like, it makes room for you to be able to take care of yourself, whatever that might look like for you, because it looks different for everybody.
And question for our ladies there, do they have any way, or would they do to find this balance between running their businesses and their families? Or do they do anything? Do they take maybe like hobbies, do activities, or just relax for a day to kind of achieve this balance between work and family?
So just in case we are conflicting, and then you offer it's all for finishing. Now, what am I hobbies do? And you know why?
I do see. Yes. You were going to
In case you are about like business, what?
Business, my family.
Yeah, possible. Paper, we have changed. We release ourselves. Sometimes I fast one, pray and fasting.
Okay. I'm getting amazing responses here. So, in trying to find balance, they do different things. So, for example, Petronella here says that she fasts sometimes, she prays. She's also part of the singing group at church. So she goes to sing. She loves singing. Something similar to what also Esna does. She sings. She sings, and she also likes reading some books. So when she's in that more like situation where she has to find peace and balance between herself, work, and family, she reads some books, and then she also yes. So she's specific to say she reads only Christian books. And then for Annabelle,
I go for church, singing, I sing groups, there's praise, choir, and the women's group. So I get busy with them.
So she's-
I hope I kneel down, I read, I pray, just
were you able to get that?
Yes, I was able to hear it. Patricia, were you able to?
Yeah.
get that?
Yeah.
So that's I think that's pretty much what they do when they have to find their balance. And I agree with you. I think it is very important to balance, because if we don't find that balance, we end up getting swollen, find ourselves deep in the work, deep in our businesses, and at the end we neglect our health. We neglect how we are, our mental health, for example.
Right.
Very important. So I understand that in order to balance between life, family, and work, I think you need to take some time off and just do some introspection and reflection on yourself and
Right.
how you're perceiving. Yes.
That is very, very true. And from seeing how they responded, I can see that they enjoy that, the singing, the reading, and everything at the same time. So I'm glad to see that they understand the importance of balancing their work, their family, even their own personal time. Right. And Patricia, I'm gonna hand it back to you. Do you have any other questions or comments you want to pass on to the ladies, or anything else to add here?
I just want to say that I am really happy that when we asked them what they do for fun, that they had such easy answers, meaning that they already do it. Because there are other people I talk to that run businesses, and when I ask them what they do for fun, they're like, I don't. I work and work and work. So I'm glad that you guys are already doing stuff to try to find this balance. Because, like I said, it's so important to be able to take time for yourself and be able to do the things for you and still do things for everybody else, because you don't want to get lost in the process. So I have to say, I am really happy that when we asked you guys, you already had those answers and you already have something you enjoy. And I also enjoy reading books and singing, but singing terribly. Like, I'm not good at it, but I do like to sing, and I do like to read books.
Geez, same here. Don't have the greatest singing voice, but karaoke, hand me the mic.
Right.
All right. Well, the importance of balancing all that, I'm sure, I mean, even for me, balancing work life and then spending time with my sisters, my parents, even I found myself kind of drowning in, oh, I focus only on work, but see that our entrepreneurs are already on top of that and that they understand it. I'm so glad to hear. And I hope they continue doing this, what they're doing, and caring for their children, running their businesses, and even making time for themselves. All right. Well, if anyone else doesn't have any questions or comments, I just want to thank you, Patricia, for taking the time here to teach our ladies about the importance of family balance. And Bernard, I just want to get a quick picture with everyone here if we're all done.
Hakuna pizza. Amai wawan. Is this okay? You're on mute.
Yes, that's perfect. Let me just take the picture real quick. All right, got it. Everyone looks beautiful. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us today. This was an amazing coaching session to hear everyone's perspective about this topic, really enlightening. And I'm glad to see everyone was very engaged and everyone enjoyed speaking on this. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Keep going strong, ladies. We'll see y'all soon. And Patricia, again, thank you. And I know they're getting closer and closer. Everyone repaid the first month of loan, so good job to all you ladies. And I know as you're getting ready to finish the coaching sessions, starting to think about what a bigger loan would look like. So keep all that in mind. And I think we're going to have Patricia back in a couple weeks to do a final wrap up. So she might have some more questions then about how you're doing, how you're ready for the next steps. So start putting those things in mind.
Yes, please.
Great. All right. We'll see you all soon. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.